So lie on your back if that's okay for you. And I always suggest you have something under your head just to lengthen the back of the neck. And that you start with your knees bent just to allow the back to release. So take a moment or two just to think about your relaxation posture, because we do this at the beginning of the class and also at the end of the class to ground and center us. And we are working with Manipura chakra as well, and that's about centering. So think about the word stability and what that means to you. And have a sensation that the earth is holding you. And then if you like, you can have your arms away from your body with the palms turned up, or you can rest your hands just on the belly on Manipura chakra. And then take a moment or two to focus on the breath. So start by just observing your natural breathing rhythm, but make this observation neutral, so there's no judgment. And also observe how you are right now in this moment. And again, try and make this a neutral exploration with compassion and kindness to however you find yourself right now. So you're not resisting anything. And then observe how maybe the mind is, and the emotions, and how those two elements are affecting you physically. And maybe you can't see a connection between the mind, the emotions, the body. That's fine, but just see if you can tune in, again, very objectively, very compassionately, just observing your present moment state. And then just very gently roll the head from side to side, just to release the neck. And then again, coming back to the breath. If it's okay for you, you're going to take one hand to the heart, the other to the belly. And you're going to breathe in to the lower hand. So the hand on the heart is relatively still. And the hand on the belly is just moving up slightly with the inhale and releasing back with the exhale. So just take a few moments like that, observing your breathing rhythm. And then take both hands to the navel, the belly, and we're going to do some optional gentle chanting. Those of you that came on Monday will know this already, but it will go like this. Your own breathing rhythm, your own pitch. Om, Ram, Ram, Ram. So Ram is the seed mantra for Manipura chakra, and you roll the R like a motorbike. So in your own breathing rhythm, I'll do it once with you, and then you just do it a few times. Om, Ram, Ram, Ram. And then releasing that, make the one you're on your last. Come back to your normal breathing pattern. And then we're just going to begin to move through our joint freeing sequence. So before we do that, I'd like to invite you to stretch out your legs and to just enjoy a full body stretch or move in any way that feels nourishing and right for you right now. And then hug the knees into the chest, rocking out the spine from side to side. And then we're going to start by thinking about our ankles. Now remember, you don't need to look at the screen. Hopefully my voice is enough, but obviously if you need to look at the screen, I'm going to move through this with you. So we're going to circle the ankles together and away from each other. But if you want to do them in one direction, that's also fine. So when you're ready, keep the knees over your belly, something under your head, hands down beside the hips. And you're just going to start to circle the ankles slowly. Remember, we do everything slowly in yoga. And as you do this, I'd just like you to visualize space in the joints. And then take that movement in the opposite direction. And then relax. And as always, you don't need to wait for me to tell you to relax if you want to rest out before. Please always listen to the body and work with kindness and compassion, resting when you need to. So now we're going to think about the knees. So I'd like you, keeping the hands beside the hips, think about the right leg, and then inhale and open up that knee to lift the leg up, exhale and lower. And then to the left, inhale up to straighten out the knee, exhale and lower. And you can make the movement as soft as you like. If you're doing it dynamically, you're going to have the leg coming towards you with the foot flexed, but if that's too strong for your hamstrings, just have the leg more relaxed and the foot more relaxed. So just a few times without tiring yourself, inhaling to lift, exhaling to lower. And move an even number of times on both sides. When you're ready, just rest out, drop your feet to the mat and just enjoy some resting breaths. And visualize space in your knees. You might like to stretch your legs out if that's more helpful. But again, just visualize that on the inhalation, you're breathing in space into your knee joint. And then when you're ready, we're going to think about our hips. So bring one knee over the belly, then the other. And you're going to hold either around the knee or below the knee or under the knee, whatever is more comfortable for you. And we're just going to be circling the knees apart and together. And if we can, we're going to move with the breath. So we're going to breathe in. The knees are together. They move away from us as the elbows straighten. And then we take the knees apart. As we exhale, we bring the knees in together. Sorry, towards the body. And then the last movement is together. So we're circling. Now you should feel movement here at your hips, but as always, if there's pain, never, ever, ever push through. Only do what feels nourishing for you. And also be aware of the vertebra in the lower back, opening as you move. Be aware of the massage in the lower back. And then when you're ready, we're going to take that in the opposite direction. And then when you're ready, drop the feet to your support or the floor, stretch out the legs, have the heels apart, take the arms away from the body, turn the palms up, and just rest. And as you rest, I'd like you to take 3 breaths into the ankles, visualizing space. Then 3 breaths into the knees, visualizing space on the in-breath. And then 3 breaths into the hip joints. Again, visualizing space coming in on that inhalation. And as you exhale, you can visualize relaxation. And then when you finish, just so I can see you finished, I'd like you to roll to one side, stay there for a moment, and then come up into sitting. But take your time, no hurry. And when you do come up to sitting, it might be an idea to sit on a chair. So I'd like you to just cup your hands, breathe into them. And then bring your hands to your heart and imagine that you're breathing in warmth into your heart. And if you like, you can rub your hands together first. Or breathe into them. And then have a feeling on every inhalation of breathing in a sense of safety and calm. And now have the sensation that you're breathing into the back of your ribs. So you're breathing into your back. We quite often do this when we're prone, lying on our bellies, but it's also nice to do when we're sitting. So just for a few breaths, visualize the breath coming into the back. And then release the hands down, breathe normally. And just observe if your left or right sit bones, which feels heavier. Do you feel left sit bones feel heavier or the right sit bone? Or maybe they both feel even. But just see if you can observe that sensation. And feel that you are now sinking into the side that feels heavier. And if neither side felt heavy, just pick a side and feel that you're pouring your weight into this side. And now come to the other side and feel that you're pouring your weight down this other side, down through the buttock. Heavy. And now we're just going to sway from side to side. And as you do this, just be aware of your neck. And then coming back to center, we're going to go forward and back. Just imagine you're swaying through treacle. So there's slight resistance there. You might like to take the navel to the spine just to help your core muscles. But if you don't want to and that's too much, that's fine too. Just feel a sense of flow. And then we're going to circle. So we're circling around our pelvis, around our sit bones. And remember, there's no right or wrong way to do this. We're just also exploring gravity, exploring our flexibility in a very gentle way. And then we can move in the opposite direction. And then calming back to center. So we're now going to think about our joints. So with the fingers, just imagine you are playing a piano or you're finger puppeting. Just explore how the fingers move. And those joints make fists and stretch. Make fists and stretch. Just a few times. And then just shake out from the wrists. And then we're going to, as we did with the ankles, we're just going to circle the wrists together and apart. Now, our wrists are the joints that tend to weaken first as we get older. I now always make a point of making sure if I'm handed a bottle of water or something to open, I make sure that I force myself to open it and I don't ask for help to try to keep that strength going. And of course you can buy balls which you can squeeze just to help, but this is really helpful too. So take that in the opposite direction. And again, just shake out. And now we're going to think about the shoulders and the elbows. Of course, from the shoulder joint down is all connected. I'd like you, this is a bit stronger, so if it's too strong, then don't do it. But this is very good for elbows and shoulders. We're going to make a L shape. So the upper arm is parallel to the shoulder, and then you're bending at the elbow to make this L shape. And then all we're going to do is keeping the upper arm not moving, so we're not dropping the upper arm. So it might be helpful to look into your screen. We're we're lowering that lower arm, and then we come up again and down. Just a few like this. As I said, you might feel this is maybe too strong for you, but try to keep the upper arm parallel to the shoulder so you're not dropping that upper arm. And each time you move the hand to the final position, just take it slightly further because this helps the shoulder joint to open more. So in other words, as that palm comes up, move the back of the hand further back, And as the palm comes down, move the palm again towards the back. And then release and shake out. And we're going to drop our hands to our knees, close our eyes, and just rest for a few breaths, because that's quite strong in the shoulders. We're going to do some shoulder rolls in a minute, because we're still working through the joints, but just rest now. And as you're resting, take a moment or two to think about your posture, because this, of course, profoundly affects your joints. So you want to think about having spaciousness from the crown of the head to the tailbone, the back of the neck long with the chin tucked into the top of the chest. Because as I'm always saying, so many of us have got phone neck when we're pointing the head forward. So the ears are over the shoulders. And then you can take the fingertips to the shoulders, and we'll just do a few shoulder rolls. So really draw the shoulder blades together, and if you like, you can combine this with breathing. So you inhale as the elbows come up, you exhale as they come down. So few movements like this. And then release again, just shake out your arms. Now, the tightest joint in the body is often called the jaw. So take your index finger and just feel around to that joint and just massage in there. And slightly drop your lower jaw. You can still keep your lips together, so you're always still breathing through the nose, but just think about having this lower portion of the face slightly soft. So we're stressed, we tend to tense here. So relax this portion here. And then drop your hands. Keep the jaw relaxed, tongue coming up to the roof of the mouth. And then left ear to left shoulder and center. Right ear to right shoulder and center. Just do that a couple of times. Come back to center. And then I'm going to describe the next movement, and I want you to do this in your own rhythm. Basically, we're going to look over the left shoulder 3 times, and then the right shoulder, and each time you do this, the neck will release. So I'll just explain. So I'm going to look over my right shoulder, and then I come back to center. And I'll repeat that twice more. And each time you move, you'll notice that you'll go a little further as you're releasing the neck, but move slowly and gently. If you want to do this with the breath, you exhale as you look over the shoulder and you breathe in to center. So just try that 3 times to each side. When you're ready, come back to center. Just observe if one side felt different from the other, and that's fine. This is this neutral way. We're just engaging more with our body by observing differences, but not with judgment. So now we're going to close our eyes and we're going to breathe 3 times into the wrists, thinking of space. 3 times into the elbows, we're breathing space into the elbows. And then 3 times into the shoulders. And 3 times into the jaw. And I'm going to invite you to lie down for this if you want. So you can remain sitting or you can lie down.